Katie Milifalcha. Welcome to Irish Granny Helen. I thought it would be fun to read a few cards on some of the questions that arose from our book, Secrets of the Vatican Archive. And I don't know what, I do know what deck to use if I can find it, because it's probably right here. I'm going to use my Mystical Tarot of the Saints because we're going to ask some questions about the Vatican. That seems appropriate. This is a beautiful deck of cards from Nate. So if you don't have it, you need to get it. Okay. So let's do big question, full Celtic cross. Is the Vatican hiding secrets? We're not going to ask necessarily what kind, but what is the energy around just the topic of what's going on in the Vatican's secret archive? This is interesting so far. I'm trying to make room here. Interesting so far because a lot more emotion going on than I would have expected. Interesting. Okay. So, is the Vatican hiding secrets? Now, I fully expected to get every card in the deck that had to do with misleading or hiding secrets, and that's not what I got. I got a whole lot of cards about emotion. So, the Knight of Cups. This is interesting. The Knight of Cups crossed by the Three of Coins, which is, to me, a little bit of a hint of something. So the Knight of Cups, sometimes considered the false knight. This is the guy who approaches you and has something to offer to you on an emotional basis that you cannot fully trust. So I think we're hearing things from the Vatican. I think they do have things crossed by the Three of Coins. This clinging to whatever it is that they have in their archives. It's not just their decision. There is a collaborative group that they're working with to keep this information on the down low. In the atmosphere, we get the Eight of Cups reversed. Once again, all this emotion, all these cups. And I think the reversal is an intensification. Because at the foundation, we get the Two of Cups reversed. I'm sorry, the Two of Coins reversed, the Two of Pentacles reversed. Now, this makes it even more interesting. So we have cups, 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 but we also have coins. So there is a struggle going on. There's an uncertainty, a debate, an internal debate going on at the foundation of all of this. And what is crossing the heart of the situation and holding the foundation of the situation is this imposition of the temporal, the material world. So they're struggling, kind of giving the Vatican, I'm anthropomorphizing an institution here, but there's some truth to that. The Vatican as an entity is struggling emotionally with what it is they know and have, but they're not entirely free to divulge it. They are working with others in the material world. There is a collaborative effort going on here and an uncertainty about what should and should not be revealed, what direction they should go in with this information. Up until now, temperance. Up until now, they have tried to keep a balance. They've tried to, there's this sense of weighing the pros and cons, weighing the odds. Very caution is the word that comes to mind. But in the near future, we get the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is about sharing of emotion, the exchange of feeling, the communication between people, the working together. And if you notice in this picture, the scroll from a celestial being is being handed to a person. If that's not our answer, what is? But let's continue. This is the Vatican. Okay, so we've got all these emotions, this care and concern, and they're tortured by it. The Nine of Swords. They are struggling in a larger environment of concern for people. Ten of Cups, the happy family, the contentment. So if you take their own rhetoric and you consider the Pope is the father of the family of the church, that's how they like to express it. You have somebody in a position of authority who has no choice but to really collaborate with the money and power and position of people in leadership in the world. Can't divorce themselves from their material existence. I'm not making excuses for them. I'm setting up what they're dealing with. So they have things that they know. This Eight of Chalices reversed, that they can only titrate little bits of, one at a time. They can only give little bits of information. They can only alleviate the feeling of withholding by providing a little here and there. They've tried for a long time to keep a balance, but they're at a crossroads, I think, right now, which is what this Two of Pentacles is about. This temperance is being challenged, and they are going to have to reveal things in a more aggressive or expedited way. This is very difficult for them because they're afraid of what might be challenged by the release of this information. What are their greatest fears? The devil. I love this. The devil. Now, is that literal, figurative, metaphorically speaking? I'll leave it up to you. The conclusion of this, though, this is really interesting. The Seven of Wands reversed, crossed by the Knight of Wands. The Seven of Wands is all about sort of defending yourself, protecting yourself. And it's interesting because the main building where the Pope lives is the Castel Gandolfo. Saw a lot of little gardens with these sorts of hedge work. It's a labyrinth in Rome. That's interesting. Crossed by the Knight of Staffs. This is the person who takes action, the religious person who takes action. So the narrative that these cards are telling us is that there's been a desire to keep a balance leading up until today, leading up until the present moment. And now there's sort of a crossroads where the information that has been offered up hasn't been enough. It's been partial truths. You can't really trust that you're hearing everything. And this trying to maintain a balance with the people that they're collaborating with, it's coming to an end. And they are going to be more forthcoming to people. We're going to hear more about these celestial beings with writings and information. But that doesn't ease the mind or the emotion of the church. The Nine of Swords, this scares them. They're worried. They're worried about the future of humanity, society. So we're talking now from the viewpoint of people with a very conventional view. This would be a very conventional view of society. They're worried about that getting shaken up. And they're worried about the influence of not just the literal devil, but that's always, that's their big thing. But they're worried about how this influence manifests in leaders, powers, people, motivations in the real world. No longer defending their position, no longer trying to maintain control. They are going to take action and maybe start being brave and being the ones to let the information out. So now we have a question. What is this information? Let's start with, is this information about ET stuff? Technology, visitation, our origins, just the whole plethora of topics that the existence of extraterrestrial life would put on us. Okay, I'm going to have to use another deck because I immediately get exactly the same card, and that's not what I want. Okay. Are they hiding knowledge of ET? Contact and technology advances that could be made. Okay. They've been presenting all along. Here we go with more cups, right? And this is the Page of Cups. This is the page who is starting a conversation, bringing the message of something that either he doesn't want to give or people don't want to hear. This is not a welcome topic for a lot of people. The people with whom he collaborates, they want to maintain the power and control. So they're a part of that. The church is a part of that. There's a desire to hang on to power and control. About what? Well, this is very interesting. I'm not entirely sure how to interpret this. We'll do a couple of clarifiers. I get the Empress and the Queen of Wands. So I'm getting a heavy feminine vibe. I wonder why. I'm getting a sense of the information that they have might actually shake up their position on women, the misogyny of theocratic and authoritarian secular institutions. This is a lot about intuition, and this is a lot about fertility, abundance. Let's do, where are my angels here? Let's do a couple of clarifiers with a different deck. Because what I'm getting here is a struggle. The information that they have, they don't want to let go of, but it's revelatory of, I'm not getting that ET technology is the big deal. They're more fearful of what's going to come out sociologically, philosophically, theologically, about gender and gender roles, and specifically about the role of women in society. So I'm leaning towards believing that their real fear is revealing an historical past of maybe matrilineal, matriarchal stuff. The Ace of Swords reversed. I think there's a fear of losing that legalistic kind of control. They don't want their past judgment about roles to be questioned. They don't want the truth coming out. Do not want the truth coming out. The Six of Swords reversed, another interesting card to get, because what it will do is impede their hegemony. They are just rolling along, have been rolling along for a very long time. It's going to put a stop to that. So they're struggling with this choice. The Two of Swords, really struggling with letting out the truth. They really want to maintain their hegemony. They want to maintain their theocratic control. This is really interesting. The Knight of Wands reversed. Again, the Knight of Wands. They really don't want to take this action. They really, I get a very strong sense of the power at the top struggling with what they have to lose. What they have to lose is control of the narrative. That's the real issue here for them. Judgment. They are very afraid that the choices they've made will be found wanting. And then we get the Page of Wands, but interestingly enough, it's a woman. We got the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands before. So there is definitely this struggle with what action to take, and is hesitance to let the information out. But it's not, I'm not getting that their big concern is ET stuff. I'm getting their big concern is sociological stuff, the role of women, the decisions they've made about women, no women clergy, all the reproductive stuff that they've come out with. The way women have been treated in the church forever was abominable. And I think that there is information there that they have that would really shine a critical, judgmental, negatively judgmental light on the past history of what the church has been doing. So let's see, my next question then, if it's not, well, let's do a simple yes, no, just a yes, no question. Is information about ET presence, is there any at all? It's not their first concern. They're really freaked out that they'll have to let women have more power. And that came up before anything. That just astounds me. Okay. So, is there any ET stuff available at all? I don't like that I'm getting the same cards. Okay, it's okay. Plenty of cards to go around here. Here's a different deck. This is my little Vincent van Gogh deck. It's just really pretty. Okay. RET's involved. They're having difficulty. I got the Two of Swords reversed. They are struggling with the decision of the truth. The truth, the Ace of Swords, the truth is going to come out. The truth is about our future, the Three of Wands. And they're terrified that it will overturn the institution. So we get an answer, but we don't get an answer. There is truth that they're holding back. Terribly difficult decision for them. They know that this truth is going to have a negative effect on the future of the church. Institutions will crumble. Its effect will be on the future, but I think it comes from the past. Once again, look at the symbols on those wands. Now, I don't know what they mean. They may have a significance, and I might be entirely misrepresenting them, but to me, they speak of esoteric, occulted knowledge. I think there is something big about the ancient past of this world that they don't want to reveal. It's going to upset the balance of power. They like that temperance, you know, they like that balance. Now they've got this decision to make. Do we say it or not? They're torn emotionally. They don't want to reveal the exact truth, but they're coming to a point where that sort of truth, you know, that Ace of Swords, it's there. The sort of truth and the Three of Wands, you know, you could get the feeling of the truth about our future. And it could be that our future is in space. I mean, that does exist. But I'm getting a strong pull to secrets from the ancient past. Now, that could be about our origins. Then you know what they think. They being iconoclasts, they think we're hybrids of ETs. So I think it's safe to say that I'm not doing a great job here giving you the specific answer. But I'll tell you, the feeling I have is that there is not as much fear about revealing information into the future, except that the truth of the past is going to challenge the institution. Very interesting. I don't know what to make of this at all. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of Lenormands just for fun. This is a real struggle. They're running a great grift, you know, they're running a great business, and they're underhanded. There's a real strong sense, this is the fox, this real strong sense of keeping secrets with the moon, keeping secrets, sly, underhanded. And this is a huge challenge to the financial supremacy, the bear, about business. But then we have the sun. This is karmic revelation, truth, shining the light on something. It's an inevitability that the spotlight is going to come on something and tell the truth. So There will be the release of information. It's a struggle. They really don't want to do it. They anticipate that it's going to challenge the stability of institutions. They're worried about the social implications, but one of the biggest things they're worried about is the relationship with women. I would never have guessed that. I just really would never have guessed that. I thought for sure we were going to see all sorts of indications of, going off into space. It's all about that. I'm not getting that. Let's do just a couple of more cards and ask. Okay, we'll call it the possibility of disclosure. Is that something that's coming soon? Something earth-shattering? Will it go over like a lead balloon? I'm astounded that the stuff the Pentagon talked about a couple of years ago didn't make a more dramatic impact. So I don't know what to think about people. Are we so zombified that people are more interested in what's on Netflix and not what's in outer space? Okay. Really want to get these. Okay. Disclosure. This is the strangest set of cards. Okay, the Nine of Cups. And to me, the Nine of Cups is about self-satisfaction. It's about smugly feeling like you have it all. I would say that this is kind of where the Vatican has been, in the position of power, chalices, right? In a position of power for a long time. But along comes the Queen of Cups. Something up her sleeve. She has information. There's knowledge to be shared that has not been shared. So here's the struggle. The Queen of Pentacles, this knowledge is going to give women, I think specifically, it's going to center and elevate matriarchal power, feminine power. It's cracking me up. It's echoing the other cards we got. As a result, we get the Six of Pentacles reversed. That you scratch my back, I scratch your back, good old boy exchange network. It's going to be turned on its head. And we're starting down a new path, the Page of Pentacles. A new path in the world where women begin a new journey. It's a little girl there in that picture. That's just interesting. Okay, we'll keep our eye on it. I feel like I've done an awful lot of talking about the Pope lately, which is really weird because, I don't know how to say this without hurting people's feelings, but it took me a long time to come out from under that influence. And it must be that indelible mark on my soul. It's very difficult to not pay attention when there's controversy. And the Pope has been in a weird position lately. The only voice of real moral reason, feels like, in the world. Position of stature, speaking the truth. And with fearlessness. Problematic stuff going on. I mean, I'm preparing a book that is just going to blow your mind about the church. So, nevertheless, we know that they have knowledge and information. I mean, I think that would be a given. The real debate is it ET stuff? It's something. Is it about our origins? ETs are our mothers? I don't know. I get the strong sense of conflict, inner conflict. And it's almost as though our stupid questions don't matter. They meaning the powers that be in the church, the authority of the church, are really struggling with the understanding that their time of controlling this is running out. And when information comes out about what they know that they're not sharing now, they are going to lose their position of control. And it is going to elevate the power of women, the position of women. And it comes from ancient knowledge. Now, is that ancient knowledge about ETs? I don't know. I can't tell. I didn't get strongly negative cards that lead me to believe it's not, but I also didn't get cards that center that. I got cards that centered a whole other power conflict that's very old and hidden ancient knowledge. You have Queen of Cups again, right? So the Empress, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, it couldn't be any clearer. Okay. I'll be back. We'll do this again. We'll read on this again. And, maybe we'll read on the information that he releases. And thank you for watching. And thank you. If you remember, I'm going to put this in my membership first. Let you guys get a good first dibs on it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm trying, you guys. I'm really trying. Keep coming back. I'm going to keep trying. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Slongafoil. Sluncha.